Hey guys, Coach Katie here. I am so excited that you're here with me today because it is with great enthusiasm that I welcome you to my very first online workshop, What the Keto? In this 30-minute workshop, we're going to cover what the ketogenic diet is and why it's more than just a fad diet, what benefits and side effects to expect while on the ketogenic diet, as well as how to effectively implement the ketogenic diet. Now, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Now, whether you know nothing at all about the ketogenic diet, or you're here to fine-tune a pre-existing ketogenic plan, or you just happen to be scrolling through Facebook and the donuts caught your attention, I just want to assure you that you are right where you're supposed to be. And how do I know this? Because the ketogenic diet is not just another fad diet. In fact, it's a Paleolithic way of eating. It's the diet your ancestors' evolved on. It's actually encrypted in your DNA. And it's making a grand comeback. But before we get into the meat of the subject, I just want to take a quick minute and introduce myself. I'm Katie Babka. I'm a holistic health coach accredited through the Integrative Institute of Nutrition. I also hold a bachelor's degree in nutritional anthropology, which likely explains my fascination with all things primal. I specialize in weight loss and confidence building in women, and my methodologies include carb awareness and sugar elimination diets, such as the ketogenic diet. So how many of you would agree that sugar is a weakness of yours? Don't be shy. I too have finished many a pint of Haagen-Dazs butter pecan in one sitting. Oh my. So for those of you that didn't raise your hand, perhaps you're thinking, nah, sugar's not really my thing. Okay. Perhaps beer is more your thing. Maybe French fries or potato chips. How about bread? Pastries? Pasta? What if I told you that you carb lovers are just as addicted to sugar as those with a sweet tooth? Are you interested in finding out just how addicted to sugar you actually are? Okay, great. I was hoping you'd say yes. So remember reading 17 magazine way back in the day and taking those stupid little quizzes like, take this quiz to find out if he's cheating on you. Really silly, but at the same time, kind of intriguing, at least when you're 17. Okay, anyway, here it goes. I'm going to make a series of statements. It's up to you to determine if each statement is generally true or generally false for you. Here we go. I drink milk. I'm perpetually tired. I'm often hangry. I eat bread of any kind. I eat fruit every day. I usually crash after eating lunch. I drink soda, diet or otherwise. I can't get enough energy drinks. I drink fruit juice. I drink beer, and lots of it. It's probably pretty clear to you that the more statements you believed were true for you, the greater your addiction to sugar. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that whether you're reaching for a banana or a baguette or a bag of Oreos, your body is metabolizing it all the same, breaking it down into glucose, aka sugar, and storing excess away as fat. Therefore, a carbaholic is a sugaraholic. So what is keto, and how does it relate to sugar and carbs? The ketogenic diet is a low-carb, moderate protein, high-fat diet. It's often referred to as a sugar elimination diet because carbohydrates break down into glucose aka sugar. Therefore, carb restriction is sugar restriction. Essentially, the ketogenic diet involves reprogramming the body to rely on fat rather than glucose for fuel. Any of you wondering how a high-fat diet could possibly result in weight loss? Let me offer you a basic breakdown of what causes weight gain in the first place. The body has two basic fueling systems. Your body is either going to take carbohydrates and turn them into glucose for quick burning fuel, or it will take fat and convert it into ketones for slow, sustainable fuel. By cutting out either pathway, you will lose weight. For instance, Weight Watchers promises results by cutting down on fat. Physique competitors and models often take this approach as well. The ketogenic diet, on the other hand, focuses on cutting carbs in order to lose weight. Now keep in mind, if you're cutting out the carbs, you're going to need to replace the body's fueling system with fat. Now I know this seems absurd because it basically takes our current food pyramid and flips it on its head. So how many of you are thinking, this can't possibly be healthy? I know, I get it. I too grew up under the assumption that health meant skim milk, whole grains, and fresh fruit. But here it is. It's time to reconsider everything you think you know about fat. So let's talk for a minute about what fat can do for you. Contrary to popular belief, fat is much more than a nasty blob of excess blubber. It's actually an organ within our endocrine system. 70% of our brain is composed of fat. Fat is found within every single cell in the body. It actually supports the structure of our cellular membranes. Beyond that, fat regulates our hormones as well as protects and fuels the body. In fact, the human dietary requirement for carbohydrate is virtually zero. We can survive on a minimal amount of carbohydrate, which can actually be created by the liver as needed. But we can't go long without fat. Fat is essential to our existence. The ketogenic diet boasts a laundry list of health benefits, most of which are due directly to our good friend fat. Now, in consideration of time and attention span, I'm going to run through these quite quickly. Benefit number 1. The ketogenic diet enhances concentration. Healthy fats are said to improve brain function, focus, and clarity. Benefit number 2. The ketogenic diet improves mood. Low-carb diets have been linked to mood stabilization and diminished depression. Benefit number 3, the ketogenic diet prevents migraines. The ketogenic diet is an anti-inflammatory diet, and reduced inflammation leads to less migraines. Benefit number 4, the ketogenic diet relieves chronic pain. Research is mounting to suggest that a ketogenic diet can effectively reduce or even eliminate chronic pain altogether. Benefit number 5, the ketogenic diet stabilizes blood sugar and increases energy. How many of you often feel hangry? Are you aware that hunger is actually a direct result of unstable blood sugar? By switching your body from using carbs as its primary fuel to burning fats instead, you virtually eliminate dramatic drops in energy levels. Benefit number 6, the ketogenic diet combats cancer. Cancer cells need glucose to thrive. In fact, they haven't actually evolved to consume fat. So carbs turn into glucose, as we know, which then feed all cells, including cancer cells. So by cutting carbs out of the diet, the cancer cells starve. Benefit number 7, the ketogenic diet brightens skin. Healthy fats encourage cellular repair, often eliminating skin conditions such as acne, eczema, psoriasis, and rosacea. Benefit number 8, the ketogenic diet relieves acid reflux. Refined sugars and starches prompt acid reflux. The ketogenic diet encourages the elimination of refined sugars and starches, thereby eliminating major culprits of acid reflux. Benefit number 9, the ketogenic diet lowers the risk of Alzheimer's. Ketones stimulate the healing and growth of brain cells. Studies have shown that a ketogenic diet can provide symptomatic relief to a broad range of brain disorders, including autism, epilepsy, and Alzheimer's. And benefit number 10, the ketogenic diet promotes weight loss. Low-carb diets such as paleo, Whole30, and the now disputed diet called Atkins have been popularized in recent years due to their overwhelming effectiveness in slimming the waistline. By now, I'm sure you're fully aware that cutting carbs leads to weight loss. I know, you get it. So sure, benefits are easy to talk about, right? But what about the side effects? Well, the ketogenic diet is certainly not side effect free. But the good news is that as long as you're eating the right foods, and we'll cover that in just a moment, the side effects are relatively short-lived and temporary. The majority of keto side effects are experienced due to the shift in fueling systems. For most of us, we've become so accustomed to fueling from carbohydrates that ketosis has become a dormant metabolic pathway. Keep in mind, this wasn't always the case. We have consumed a high-fat diet for the past 2 million years. It's only since the advent of agriculture, about 10,000 years ago, that carbs have become abundant in our food supply. And understand that anytime we dramatically change our diet, our body undergoes a period of adaptation. And oftentimes this period of adaptation comes with some less than pleasurable side effects. This period of adaptation within keto is known as the keto flu. The keto flu is a natural response that occurs when the body is shifting from a sugar burning machine to a fat burning machine. It's essentially a reactionary period of withdrawal. So what can we expect? The following is a list of common keto flu symptoms: sugar cravings, dizziness, drowsiness, brain fog, irritability, poor focus and concentration, stomach pains, nausea, cramping, confusion, muscle soreness, and sleep disruption. Now, depending on your level of toxicity, the keto flu symptoms can fluctuate in intensity and duration, but generally they're going to last about 3 to 4 days. Now that we've discussed some potential benefits and side effects associated with the ketogenic diet, are you ready to learn how to effectively implement it? Of course you are. Here is the basic keto breakdown. 70 to 80% of your dietary intake should be derived from fat. 10 to 20% of your dietary intake should be derived from protein, and 5 to 10% of your dietary intake should be derived from carbohydrates. And as we know, in order to lose weight, you want to consume fewer calories than you burn. Total caloric needs takes into account sex, age, BMR, activity level, as well as rate of digestion and rate of absorption. Calculating appropriate caloric needs can be a bit tedious, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Computing approximate caloric needs for weight loss can be as simple as multiplying your current weight by 10 if you're a female, or 11 if you're a male. And there you have it. From there, you'll need this basic formula. Calories times macros percentage divided by 9 equals appropriate grams per day. So as a 150-pound, 37-year-old female, I've calculated my macros as 1,500. So then I'm going to plug it in. 1,500 times 75% divided by 9 equals 125 grams of fat per day. 1,500 times 15% divided by 9 equals 33 grams of protein per day. And 1,500 times 10% divided by 9 equals 16 grams of carbs per day. Wonderful. Now that we've got our macros sorted, let's discuss what sorts of food we should be reaching for. In order to break down the keto-friendly foods, I've put together 3 basic keto guidelines. Basic keto guideline number 1, eliminate sugar and high carbohydrate foods. Remember, the smallest component of the keto diet is reserved for carbohydrates. Now, this is not an opportunity to have a small piece of bread or a cookie. In fact, we're working towards eliminating processed food products altogether. This includes bread of any kind, cereal of any kind, pasta, healthy whole grains such as buckwheat, rye, and whole wheat, legumes such as chickpeas, lentils, and beans, as well as starchy veggies such as carrots, corn, beets, and potatoes. Now, if the thought of giving up all your beloved carbohydrates is absolutely crippling, you may want to consider easing into the ketogenic diet. In which case, I've got the perfect program for you. It's called Breaking Up with Sugar. It's my signature course, and it's basically an intro into keto or a stepping stone on your way to keto. You can find out all about it by heading to www.museandme.com. Okay, back to guideline number 1. We now know what we cannot eat, but how about what we can eat? Your carb intake should be reserved for vegetables and the occasional low glycemic fruit. Now, this seems to be a sore spot for people. Often, people want to know, why would we cut out fruit when it has so many nutrients? Yes, you're right. Fruit contains all kinds of nutrients, but it also contains loads of sugar. Just to illustrate this idea, I've put together a little guessing game. It's called, How Many Dunkin' Donuts Are Hiding in This? So let's play. How many sugar-glazed Dunkin' Donuts would you suspect are hiding in this 15-ounce naked green machine? But before I reveal the answer, take note that the label reads, no sugar added. What? Would you have ever guessed that 4 donuts are hiding in your naked green machine? That's absurd. So how about a 12-ounce Tropicana OJ, America's favorite breakfast beverage? 3 donuts. What? So how about actual fruit, like a banana? 1 banana is equivalent to eating 1 sugar-glazed Dunkin' Donuts. True story. And how about dried fruit? Is it any better? This 8-ounce package of unsweetened organic dried mango is equivalent to 10 Dunkin' Donuts. Holy hell. And finally, mom's choice snack for the kiddos, dried raisins. Can you guess how many donuts are hiding in this little itty bitty box? 2 donuts, my friend. 2! So you may be thinking, yeah, but it's good sugar. Sorry to break it to you, my friend, but there's no such thing as good sugar. And the unfortunate thing is, oftentimes when people think they're eating the right things, meaning a bowl of steel-cut oats with sliced banana and a glass of OJ, they're actually taking down 4 Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm not advocating that instead of having a bag of dried mangoes that you go take down 10 Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just trying to make you aware of all the sugar you're unknowingly consuming. Moving on. Basic keto guideline number 2. Consume moderate amounts of protein. So quick forewarning. This is where many kill their macros by way overdoing the protein. Friends, unless you're taking your swole self to the gym every single day and lifting all the things, you don't need more than a palm-sized portion of protein per serving. Also, quality plays a big role. Generally speaking, you want to reach for organic, locally grown, grass-fed, sustainably sourced, antibiotic and hormone-free, nitrate-free, free-range, and 100% whole-fat protein sources. For the conscious carnivores, this could be eggs, lamb, beef, pork, wild game such as bison or elk, chicken, duck, and animal organs. For the pescatarians, we're talking ahi, mahi-mahi, mackerel, salmon, clams, mussels, and oysters. And for the vegetarians out there, we're reaching for macadamia nuts, pecans, walnuts, sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, tempeh, and tofu. Now keep in mind these lists are not definitive, meaning there are plenty of protein sources you could incorporate into your diet that I haven't listed today. Have at it. Moving on to basic keto guideline number 3. Include healthy fats at every meal. Healthy fats must be the bulk of your dietary intake. Guys, this is a non-negotiable. Now keep in mind, there are ways of going about this all wrong. Now you could go on the ketogenic diet, eat all the unhealthy fats, you will lose weight, you'll also raise your bad cholesterol, and it'll likely end up in illness. Or you could go on the ketogenic diet, eat all the right fats, you'll lose weight, lower your bad cholesterol, and end up in wellness. So everyone wants to know, which fats should I eat? Actually, let's begin with which fats to avoid. Omega-6s are often referred to as the unhealthy fats or the bad fat. They are the inflammatory fats and best avoided. These include hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, such as trans fat. Now, this can get a little tricky because the marketing industry has caught on to the fact that the general public is aware of trans fats and they're now avoiding trans fats. Therefore, companies don't often list their products as containing hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils or trans fats. Instead, they list the inflammatory oils specifically, and these are your top culprits: canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, safflower oil, sesame oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, and walnut oil. Now, unfortunately, these are the top oils that are associated with processed food products. And why do companies use them? Well, for one, they're extremely inexpensive to produce. And two, they have an extremely long shelf life. Another fat you should steer clear of is margarine or pseudo butter spreads and sprays. At this point, most of us are aware that margarine is not the healthier option, but how about the pseudo butter spreads and sprays? So lately I've taken notice of the grocery aisle, and within the butter section, you'll see butter spreads that say made with olive oil or made with coconut oil. Okay, great. I take the product, I flip it over, and the first ingredient on the list is canola oil or sunflower oil. And then maybe the third or the fourth or the fifth ingredient is olive oil or coconut oil. So this is marketing at its best. Be careful of this. Yes, that butter contains some olive oil, but it's predominantly canola oil, which is an omega-6 or a bad fat. Finally, vegetable shortening is best avoided. It's one of the worst, in fact. And I know this can be rough, especially if you're really into baking, but I do have an alternative under the omega-3 list, which we'll cover in just a moment here. Now, I realize I've just cut out about 90% of the fats on the market, But the good news is there are plenty of healthy fats to choose from. The following is a list of healthy fat you're invited to indulge in: beef tallow, pork lard, duck fat, cocoa butter, grass-fed whole butter, ghee butter, avocado or coconut mayo, coconut or MCT oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, hemp oil, fish oil, and the occasional flaxseed oil. Oh yes, and sustainably sourced palm kernel oil. Palm kernel oil is the oil that I was talking about that could be a good replacement for the vegetable shortening. Now, I do stress the sustainably sourced palm kernel oil because there are all sorts of issues with environmental degradation. Well, that about wraps it up. Now, I know I threw an obscene amount of information at you in a very short amount of time, and to be quite honest, we're really just skimming the surface here. The good news is, I love to talk about keto, and now you know where to find me. Before we dive into any questions though, I do want to let you know that I have a free comprehensive keto masterclass online that covers everything we spoke of today in much greater detail, in addition to much more. You can access that by heading to my website, www.museandme.com. Aside from that, if you're interested in scheduling a free health coaching consultation, you're welcome to email me directly at info@museandme.com. I hope you found tremendous value in today's workshop. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to post in the comments below, or you can always drop me a private line at info@museandme.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to connecting with you. Have a glorious day. Aloha.